Most men go through their entire dating lives completely blind, constantly overthinking every text, every look, and every conversation. They waste weeks, sometimes even months, wondering whether a woman is actually attracted to them or if she just views them as a safe, friendly guy to lean on. Because they lack the ability to read the subtle language of attraction, they end up playing a guessing game they almost always lose. They double text, over explain, buy expensive dinners, and pull out every trick in the book, only to watch her pull away or hand them the dreaded friend zone speech. It is a frustrating, exhausting cycle that leaves good men feeling confused, defeated, and completely out of control of their own romantic lives. The harsh truth is that women rarely give you a straightforward verbal invitation, but their behavior speaks volumes if you actually know what to look for. When a woman has gone through a prolonged drought of real, deep physical and emotional intimacy, her psychology and physical posture undergo a complete shift. She begins radiating distinct biological and subconscious signals that are virtually impossible to hide once you train your eyes to see them. Understanding these signals isn't about mind games or tricks. It's about developing the heightened awareness of a high value man who naturally understands feminine nature, allowing you to react with total composure instead of clueless desperation. Today, we are completely eliminating the guesswork and putting an end to the confusion once and for all. I am dropping the fluff and giving you the exact blueprint: five unmistakable, raw behavioral signs a woman displays when she is starving for genuine, high quality masculine connection. We are going to break down how her body language shifts, how her conversational patterns change, and how she subtly tests your composure to see if you are a real man or just another nervous boy. Pay close attention to sign number 5 in particular, because it is the ultimate, unmistakable green light that 98% of guys completely misread and blow at the absolute last second. Cut the excuses, lock in, and let's get straight into the breakdown. When a woman goes through an extended drought without genuine, high quality physical intimacy, her brain and body react on a fundamental biological level. This isn't just a simple mood shift. It is a scientifically recognized psychological craving known as skin hunger. Your skin is packed with millions of sensory receptors, directly connected to the brain's release of oxytocin and dopamine, the key chemicals responsible for feelings of bonding, comfort, and deep physical attraction. When those nervous pathways go unstimulated for months, her body naturally begins seeking that sensory input, even if she isn't consciously thinking about it. However, because most women are socially conditioned not to make overly aggressive or desperate moves, she won't just grab you out of nowhere. Instead, her desire leaks out through subtle, calculated, and seemingly casual physical interactions designed to get close to you without risking outright rejection. You will start noticing small, deliberate moments of contact that seem accidental on the surface, but are completely intentional underneath. She will lightly brush her fingers against your wrist when she hands you a coffee or a drink. When you say something funny, her hand won't just touch your forearm. It will rest there for 3 or 4 seconds longer than necessary. She will find cute, unprompted excuses to fix your clothing, like straightening your shirt collar, adjusting your chain, or fixing your hoodie strings, even when there is absolutely nothing wrong with how you look. If you sit together on a couch or in a booth, she will position herself just close enough so that her shoulder or thigh lightly presses against yours. These are not random accidents, and she is definitely not doing this with every guy in the room. What 98% of men fail to realize is that every single one of these subtle touches is an invisible test of your masculine frame. In that split second of physical contact, her subconscious mind is measuring your reaction to judge what kind of man you actually are. She is asking herself a quick question: is he going to flinch, freeze up, or act surprised like a nervous boy who can't handle a woman's touch? Or is he going to stay completely grounded, calm, and unfazed? If you pull away nervously, laugh awkwardly, or act stiff, her brain instantly logs your reaction as a lack of confidence and experience, closing the window of opportunity right then and there. But if you remain completely composed, slow down your energy, look her dead in the eye, and hold that moment with a quiet, confident smile, you instantly pass her first test and show her that you are a man who is entirely comfortable with physical tension. Beyond the physical touch, a prolonged intimacy drought creates a massive emotional void that she will naturally try to fill through your presence. Women rarely open up physically to a man until they feel secure and recognized on an emotional level first. When she feels deprived of deep connection, she will start dropping subtle conversational bait to test your depth and see if you can truly read her. This shows up as loaded, deeply personal questions that seem to come out of nowhere. She will look at you and ask things like, "Do you think I'm too intense or too emotional for most guys?" Or, "Be honest with me. Do you actually find me attractive, or do guys just say that to be nice?" She might even bring up past relationships with questions like, "Did I overreact with my ex, or was I actually justified?" These are not casual icebreakers, and she is not looking for a quick, polite compliment. She is throwing out an emotional line to see if you have the maturity to handle depth, or if you are going to give a weak, surface level response. This is where the vast majority of guys completely drop the ball. Nervous men get uncomfortable with the raw nature of the question, panic, and blurt out safe, generic answers like, "Nah, you're fine," or "Don't worry about it. Everyone overreacts sometimes." Giving a lazy, dismissive answer like that immediately kills the romantic momentum because it proves to her that you are just like every other guy who skims the surface and avoids real intimacy. If you want to completely stand out from every other man she interacts with, you have to meet her depth with total composure and direct honesty. When she drops one of these loaded questions, do not rush to answer her right away. Pause for a second, hold strong eye contact, and give her a grounded, insightful answer that proves you actually see right through her surface layer. Look at her calmly and say, "You feel things deeply. And in a world where most people are terrified of being vulnerable and hide behind a fake persona, that's rare as hell. Don't apologize for that." A direct, calm response like that instantly cuts through all her defenses. It shows her that you are not intimidated by her emotions, that you possess deep masculine awareness, and that you are capable of offering the exact strength and connection she has been starving for. When a woman has been starved of genuine physical connection for a long time, her subconscious brain turns her physical body language up to maximum volume. Her nervous system enters a state of heightened awareness, and her body naturally begins broadcasting signals of arousal and tension that she cannot consciously control. This is where her internal desires leak out through distinct, high frequency micro behaviors that tell you everything you need to know without her ever having to say a single word. Because her biological radar is tuned to the absolute highest setting, every gesture, movement, and shift in her posture becomes a direct window into her internal state of mind. If you pay close attention, you will start seeing these unmistakable body language cues happening rapid fire right in front of you. She will constantly run her fingers through her hair, exposing her neck and collarbone, a classic primal indicator of comfort and subconscious invitation. She will cross and uncrossing her legs repeatedly while sitting next to you, shifting her weight to draw subtle attention to her body. Even if there is plenty of room on the couch or at the table, her entire upper body will tilt sharply toward you, cutting off the rest of the room to isolate the dynamic between the two of you. You will catch her moistening her lips more frequently, adjusting the neckline of her shirt, pulling down her top, and holding eye contact with you for just a second or two longer than what is considered casually polite. Where most average men completely ruin their chances right here is by misreading these signals as an immediate green light to make a clumsy, desperate move. They see her tilt her head or adjust her top, panic with excitement, and instantly try to force a kiss or force physical escalation way too fast. That sudden rush of desperate energy shocks her system, triggers her natural safety radar, and causes her to pull away, put her guard back up, and eventually ghost you because you acted like a starving boy who couldn't control himself. The real secret here is controlled, patient escalation. You don't rush the process. You play the long game with unhurried certainty. When she leans in slightly closer to whisper something, you don't lunge forward. You simply lean in just enough to meet her halfway. If her hand touches your arm, you don't grab her aggressively. You calmly brush her fingers back or rest your hand near hers with total composure. You match her high frequency energy with smooth, steady control, proving that you are completely accustomed to intense female attention. However, right after her body language gives her away, her self defense mechanism will kick in hard, leading directly into sign number 4, ruthlessly testing your emotional spine. After going through a long drought without genuine intimacy, a woman naturally builds a thick, protective emotional wall around herself. She isn't doing this to be difficult or malicious. She is doing it because letting her guard down makes her vulnerable, and she needs to absolute certainty that you are strong enough to hold down the fort before she surrenders her heart or her body to you. She needs to know whether you are a grounded, unshakable man who can handle her true, uncensored emotions, or just another weak guy who will fold, panic, or get flustered the moment things get even slightly uncomfortable or chaotic. To figure out what you are made of, she will deliberately push your buttons and throw out playful yet sharp emotional challenges. She might share a deeply personal or messy story from her past and watch your eyes like a hawk to see if you judge her, pull away, or flinch. She might create a tiny, artificial piece of drama over something insignificant to see if you start panicking and over explaining yourself. She will even drop direct, provocative challenges straight to your face, looking you dead in the eye and saying things like, I bet you couldn't handle a girl like me. Or, you seem like the type of guy who gets intimidated easily. Every single one of these moments is a stress test designed to see if your emotional spine will snap under pressure. This is the exact fork in the road where 95% of men completely collapse and destroy all attraction. Weak men immediately take the bait and drop into defensive mode, trying to argue back, prove how tough they are, or desperately reassure her that they aren't like other guys. Other men fall into the dreaded therapist mode, frantically trying to fix her problems, giving unwanted advice, and acting like an overeager counselor just to keep her happy. Both reactions fail miserably because they reveal the same thing, that her words easily throw you off your axis. The winning response is pure, unwavering composure. When she throws a test your way, you don't fight back, you don't apologize, and you don't explain yourself. You sit back, hold a quiet smile, look her directly in the eyes with absolute calm, and let her know through your silent presence that her emotional storms don't rattle you in the slightest. That unbothered, ironclad stability is pure rocket fuel to a woman who has been searching for a strong man she can actually trust. This is the absolute crown jewel of female attraction, the undeniable green light that signals she is completely ready to drop her guard and bring you into her world. When a woman has gone through an extended period without real physical and emotional intimacy, her desire to have a strong, grounded man in her private space becomes overwhelming. However, female psychology is deeply wired around social safety and self preservation. Even when she wants you deeply, she will almost never look you in the eye and say, I'm lonely, come over to my apartment late tonight. Her pride, her reputation, and her natural boundaries will not allow her to be that blatantly aggressive. Instead, her mind naturally creates a brilliant psychological workaround known as plausible deniability, a practical, logical, and completely socially acceptable excuse to get you into her private sanctuary without her having to take the emotional risk of outright inviting you for romance. This dynamic plays out through seemingly innocent, everyday favors and casual requests for help that seem totally mundane on the surface. She will text or call you with problems that any adult could easily solve on their own or figure out with a quick online search. You will hear requests like, Hey, I'm trying to rearrange my living room and I can't move this heavy couch by myself. Can you drop by for a few minutes? Or, my Wi Fi keeps cutting out and I'm totally hopeless with technology. Do you think you could come take a look at it? She might hit you with late night options, like, I really want to watch this creepy horror movie tonight, but I'm way too scared to watch it alone in the dark. Or simply, I bought this great bottle of wine, but opening it and drinking alone feels depressing. Come over and share it with me. Every single one of these scenarios is a carefully constructed bridge designed to give both of you a comfortable, face saving reason to be together in an isolated environment. The fundamental truth that 98% of men completely miss is that she does not care about her Wi Fi router, her couch, her TV show, or her wine. Those are merely practical tools she is using to clear away any potential awkwardness and build a safe, low pressure path for you to enter her private home. She is intentionally placing herself in a position where, if anyone asks or if things move forward between you two, she can comfortably tell herself and her friends, we were just hanging out fixing my apartment. One thing led to another, and it just naturally happened. That psychological safety net gives her the total freedom to let her walls down, relax, and drop the protective shield she wears out in the public world. This exact moment is where the vast majority of men completely ruin a golden opportunity through total polarization. They either act like a oblivious handyman or turn into a pushy, desperate mess. Immature boys fall into the first trap. They show up, obsess over actually fixing her router or moving her furniture for 2 hours, act completely clueless about the romantic tension in the room, and then say goodbye like a polite contractor, leaving her feeling frustrated, unwanted, and disappointed. On the flip side, overly eager guys show up acting hypersexual, pushy, and aggressive the second they step through the front door, which instantly alarms her, destroys the comfortable cover of her plausible deniability, and forces her to put her defenses back up to protect herself. If you want to handle this like a smooth, experienced man who understands female nature, you must execute the interaction with complete composure, patience, and unhurried certainty. You show up grounded and relaxed, completely unaffected by the situation. You take care of her small task casually, without making a big deal out of it. Set a warm, comfortable tone, sit back, and start having a genuine, fun conversation. You tease her lightly about her terrible tech skills or her soft couch, laugh together, and allow the natural physical proximity and romantic tension to slowly build in the room without trying to force anything. When she gets close to you, and she will because that was the entire goal of bringing you into her home, you move with quiet, deliberate confidence. You don't ask for permission like a nervous boy, nor do you rush like a starving man. You lead the dynamic with calm, steady strength, proving to her that you are a man who knows his worth and handles intimacy with absolute mastery.